Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! Yes. In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Higgins here. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode,
whisper it quietly, but Chelsea might not be in a title race. Oh, welcome back everyone to another episode of At the Bridge Pod, and I am your host Mike, and I'm joined in this virtual room filled with one single lion, and that means, oh yes, it's always going to be Chris, because it is the Friday show on a Thursday. And you know what? I'm not going to go to what we're looking forward to this weekend. Not yet. Because, you know, Chris spoke to me earlier. He wanted to say something, and I want to hear what it is. So, Chris, the floor is yours.
Thank you. It's really just about this time of year now with Christmas coming up. I had an interaction today in a supermarket, which kind of made me not aware because obviously I was already aware of it, but more aware of the fact that there are people in really bad situations in this country, especially around Christmas time, who can't provide stuff for their kids that they want to. So basically, I was in a toy aisle just browsing around for seeing if there's anything on offer, basically to get my son for Christmas. If anything caught my eye, and there was a lady in there with a kid who's probably about a year younger than my son, so about 3 years old. And he was asking the normal questions that you hear kids asking in supermarkets. Do you think I can get this for Christmas? Do you think I can get that for Christmas? So I didn't pay that much attention to his mom keep saying, I don't know, maybe next year. Because I thought that's just a standard thing. To be fair, I've said that to Leo before when I have every intention of buying it. But yeah, so this went on for a while. And then this kid turned round to his mom and said, why won't Santa bring me any toys this year? And his mom started crying in a supermarket. So I asked her if she was okay. And I don't know whether it was she hadn't had someone to talk to or I just caught her at the wrong time. But she just opened up about this kid's dad had just left. She's using food banks. She's not going to have any money to buy him any Christmas presents this year. And she feels really bad about it. And honestly, it broke my heart. Like, I'm not in a massively fortunate position. Well, I am in comparison, but you know, I'm not like mega rich or anything like that. I don't have loads of money, but it makes you realise how much of a privileged position you are in, that we can provide presents for our kids every year, and we don't have to worry about whether they're going to have something to open on Christmas Day. So me and the girls from the Sunday Wolfpack team now, we've decided that we're going to do like almost like a charity drive thing where we're going to gather up as much good condition used toys that kids grow out of so quick that they don't have anymore. I'll be able to make up boxes from Leo's stuff on my own. He's got an absolute ton of stuff that he doesn't play with anymore because that's what kids do. We're going to either gather it all together and make up present boxes, or we're going to get like a location and set up like where people can come and collect the stuff, and they, you know, all for free. We're going to link with a local food bank to making sure that we're getting it to the right people. Just to make sure that as many kids in the local area as possible can have something to open on Christmas Day. So really, it's just, if there's anyone listening, I found out today that the food bank local to me, is already planning on doing something very similar that we're just going to sort of jump on board with. try and find out if someone local, and if you can help in any way, please do, because I just don't think kids should be waking up on Christmas without anything when it's through no fault of their parents. They just generally can't afford to buy them anything.
Yeah, I know, 100%. And obviously, full disclosure, I didn't know what you were going to share. So that was me hearing it as much as the listeners for the first time. I did as well. And yeah, totally hit me. I'm not a dad yet. I'm hoping to be in the next couple of years. But yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. And, look, we preach here all about the mental health partnership that we have with Head in the Game. And, it's important because, look, I know myself, I'll complain. Like I've had an Achilles injury recently and I'm whinging, I can't run. It's like I can walk. I can, there's small little blessings and, I've got a roof over my head. I've got food. I can go out to get food. I don't need to worry about my next meal and everything else. And yeah, I know myself, I have to remind myself of what I would consider are blessings in my life. And yeah, if you can help in any way, in any form in life, I would always call that you do so, because you never know, if you might be on the other end of it one day. You might do, and you'd be extremely grateful if someone could help yourself out. So yes, that's 100%. I 100% back that. 100%. We do, obviously, I know there's no easy way to segue to what we're looking forward to this weekend, but what are you particularly got on the agenda this weekend?
Going to get the Saturday girls back on the pitch this weekend because we're on a 3G, so I don't have to worry about the fact that it's like soaking wet all the time. But that'll be good because we had the cup game that we lost quite heavily, and then we had a week off, which was really bad timing.
Well,
and now we're back, so that's going to be good just to get them back on the pitch again. And then Sunday we're meant to have a game, but I hate this time of year because instead of thinking about the game, you just spend your whole time thinking, is it even going to be on?
That's not, you're not wrong. It's a good point. You know what? I mean, for me, I think this is another episode of Let's Dox the Host, because this weekend I'm making a pilgrimage to the Worcester Victorian Christmas Market. So I'm not going to reveal which day I'm going. Got to be secure in some aspects. And you know what? What are the odds that any of our listeners will also be wandering around Worcester in a Christmas jumper and a scarf this weekend? And you know what? If anyone tuning in is local to the glorious county of Hereford and Worcester, fair play. If you see me, I'd say hi. I really would. Fair play, I say. Obviously, baking-wise, I am going to do another batch of mince pies with a little bit of an almond pastry twist. That's my theme this year. And some cranberry and date cookies, because I have a lot of cranberries to use up. And my answer is always make a cookie. Can't go wrong with cookies.
Bears.
Yeah.
You love a Christmas fair, don't you?
I do. Where did I go? I went last week to the Stratford-upon-Avon one. Pure chance. We went there and it was on. And I was like, oh. And I genuinely did not know. My girlfriend, I don't think she believed me, but I was like, I genuinely did not know this was on. This was complete surprise. It was like seeing a team playing a back five for the first time. I felt like Arnie Slot. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Oh, but games of the weekend. Liverpool are not in my games of the weekend. I've got Saturday, 5:00. I've got Inter Milan versus Cesc Fabregas's Como. This is actually quite a big game. It's third versus fifth. Only 3 points are between them. And Inter's machine is meeting Cesc's miracle work, as though you could say they've got a lot of financial backing. So is it a miracle? I don't know. But I think that's going to be a good top four battle for the race for the top four. And from Milan to Miami, Martinez to Messi, because enter the Super Bowl of the MLS season. It's the MLS Cup final, Inter Miami versus the Vancouver Whitecaps. It's Messi and Thomas Muller, legacy and longevity, pink versus blue, everything on the line for the biggest prize in the MLS. I mean, I didn't even write a time. Oh, fuck that up. It's not 5 p.m. It's definitely not 5 p.m. I think it's about 9:30. It is actually 7:30. So there you go, 7:30. Sunday.
You know what?
Go on.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt. Just on into Miami.
Yes.
I love what Beckham's done, by the way. Started the team. I think it's been great. I think it's brought a lot of attention to the MLS as well, which is obviously good for the league globally. but you'd struggle to like them, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah,
And
I don't know. No one likes them unless you're in Miami, and that would be fair.
And do you know what? I kind of get now why people do hate Chelsea so much. Because we was like the Inter Miami of the Premier League.
I think
Crashed the establishment, did it with money. Obviously, it doesn't matter now because everyone spends a ridiculous amount of money. But we was the first, so I kind of get it because like I haven't really got anything against Inter Miami, and I like Beckham. He was one of my favourite players growing up. So I haven't got anything against them, but you do struggle to like them. Like I would prefer if they lost that game than won it.
I won't lie. They are probably one of the most. They're one of the best teams the MLS has seen this season. They are. I mean, the most goals this season and such. And they do have Messi, Alba, Suarez, etc. They've broke so many. When I say they've not broke rules, that's technically not true. They haven't. They've loopholed like we did as our ownership.
Loophole FC.
I don't like it. And there's a weird messy revenue agreement with Apple TV, which is completely surreal. Imagine, there's no real way of doing it, but imagine the Premier League took the best player in the world. Now, it's not Dembele, but think of the prime, like one of the greatest of all time players.
Well, if Messi had ever come to the Premier League.
Well, yeah, but Sky Sports have given him a deal to play over here. It's that sort of weirdness. It's like, I don't know the conflict of interest here. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a weird one. Celtic versus Hearts is kicking. I haven't wrote down a time for that. Is that a lunchtime? This is terrible.
We're so pro.
This is why people. 3:00 Sunday. There you go. Celtic have the chance to finally climb to the summit for the first time all season. A win takes them top, and it is the first game for new boss Wilfred Nancy. So Celtic also have a game in hand on Hearts, who have really had a patchy run of form in the last 5. So from they could win the title to Celtic look like they're going to just do it all over again. But it should be fun. Though Celtic do have a game in hand. And then finally, close your evening. 7 p.m. Santos versus Cruzeiro. It is the Brazilian Serie A's final day. It's the season finale. Santos are a giant of Brazilian football. Historic club. Staring at possible relegation. I mean, that's insane. I mean, their position looks healthier, though, because last night Neymar scored a hat-trick against Juventude. He's got a fucked knee. His knee is not right, and he's playing because he wants to keep them up. And hat-trick, bloody hell. It looks easier than it did yesterday morning because they won. So history's on the line, and they've got 90 minutes. All they have to do is better the results of 3 teams below them. So that's not bad odds. You've only got to beat one of those 3 teams' results. So match it or whatever. It's not too bad.
You'd take those odds, wouldn't you?
Damn right I would. Shevva shoutouts. We'll dive into these. We've got Alex Richards. Oh, he's ready to take an L and admit that Chris was right on Liam Delap. Looks lost playing at a higher level and offers very little of what made him stand out at Leeds. Well, I'm guessing he means Ipswich. But have to read out what you wrote. Just saying. I don't want to doctor it, you know. Yeah, well, we're going to talk on Liam Delap later on. I've got Mads from Masterclass to Disasterclass. Berth mentioned it in the show. The fear was always that this would be a massive letdown. And unfortunately, that's precisely how things panned out. Chelsea were off the pace from the opening whistle, and none of Enzo Maresca's rotational choices seemed to be working. Yes, it was. Very much so. Well, again, we'll touch on that in the winners and losers. But you know what? I've got to share a shout out for you because massive thank you, seriously, to everyone who's been sharing their Spotify Wrapped with us over the past few days. Huge shout outs to Jess, O'Shea, Blue is the Colour Pod, Connor, Isaac, Drew, Henry, James, Louis, Yuri, Max, Giles, and Lane, who even had us as their most listened to show of 2025.
Wow.
So words don't do it justice, just to show how grateful the 4 of us all are. Whether you've been with us since 2019, hopped on 2022, or maybe you just discovered us last week. Look, the fact that you choose to spend your time with our little show, that's everything. It's so lovely. It really is. It really is. So thank you, truly. And thank you as always for your reviews, thoughts and everything else. Want yours without on the show, head over to Spotify. Drop a comment on the episode, and we selective now because we don't want it to go on too long. But yeah, we'll give it a shout in the next episode. And with that, we will hit some good old news. It's that time of the week we check out the news that you may have missed in the elevator of Chelsea news. Chelsea have held a long-standing interest in Nottingham Forest's Murillo. Chelsea have not made a decision on whether to sell Tyreek George. Chelsea's long-standing interest in Morgan Rogers has cooled. Chelsea are not planning to add to the first team squad in January, with the focus being more on the summer. Borussia Dortmund are interested in signing Aaron Anselmino permanently next summer. My top artist on Spotify rap was Charlie XCX, as you expected. And finally, the BBC have confirmed that no pundits or commentators will travel to the USA for the 2026 World Cup until the quarterfinals. All games will be covered remotely due to high travel costs. I guess this is actually the perfect segue, because we actually can officially confirm that all of us here at the Bridge Pod will be watching the World Cup remotely from our cosy homes in the UK next year. We're not going over either. That's got nothing to do with the cost. No. Or jobs, nothing. We just chose to.
The pod's budget wouldn't stretch to it.
No,
and if all four of us can't go, then it's not fair for one of us to go. That's what we decided.
Exactly. And you know what? I actually do have a thought on this. I didn't think I did, and then I did. I get the pundit angle, but I'm not having the commentators not being at the stadium. That's a little bit weird and wild to me, because you need them in the ground. You can't feel an atmosphere through a monitor, and you definitely cannot read a match when your only window is whatever the broadcast camera happens to show.
Absolutely.
I've learnt that. So, I mean, look at my winners and losers from Wolves 3, Chelsea 4. I was putting Romeo Lavia in there. Not many people spoke about him, but I saw him. And what I saw was different to what the camera lens saw. And it's little things like that. And you can't feel an atmosphere through a monitor. And if you want a perfect example, he's not on the show, but I'm sure he's watching Bertha's. Just if you want to see how weird and disconnected it gets, look at the Ashes coverage on TNT Sports. The commentators just sound like they're guessing half of what's going on, because they can only react to what the camera is showing them. Nothing what's happening off screen, no cues, no context, no feeling of the ground. I mean, half the point for me of commentary is seeing the whole field, spotting things developing before the viewer can. That's what they're there for. They add layers that you simply don't get from the TV angle alone. And I think you take them at the stadium, you lose that. And
you will.
I've heard some of the pods talk about it, Chris, and they were like, yeah, but you can get a good set. I don't think you can.
No, you can't. You can't, because firstly, the analysis is going to be wrong. So normally the co-commentator comes in with some form of analysis on the game from what they are seeing, and that is precedented on what they want to look at the time, not what a TV camera is showing them, because they're just going to see exactly the same stuff we're all seeing then, like literally exactly the same stuff.
Yeah.
So the analysis is going to be pointless. And some of the most iconic commentary moments have only happened because that person is in the ground. You think of the Aguero moment. There's no way you get that reaction from someone who's watching it on a TV screen in a studio. You just wouldn't get, it wouldn't be the same, because when you're at a game, and I've said this before about going as a fan, when you're at a game, you get caught up in the emotion of it. So if anything, your judgment is very clouded of that game, because it's all emotion that you're watching the game with. And that's the same with commentators. They watch the game, they'll get caught up with the fans around them, what they're feeling in the ground, and they'll get caught up in that emotion. That's what makes it authentic and genuine. It's gonna sound like computer game commentary.
Yeah,
you're just telling me the name.
Yeah, that's the I know there's costs. I understand that. And the pundits, do you need them in there? Probably not. I know we all like to see it. I do like to see it. I like to see the backdrops. I think of like 2006 World Cup with Berlin in the background, and obviously I think they did it for South Africa in 2010. I think they did, but I think you need the commentators there. And it's not like they're going to be on camera. I mean, I guess you got hotels and all the other stuff, but yeah, that's just my. Anything else from the news Chelsea wise that we saw that we thought, I haven't really seen anything.
No, not really. I haven't seen anything, not of interest anyway. A few things totting around that you just think,
yeah,
but
I think
nothing significant.
That's about, well, we're coming up to January soon, so loads. Well, apparently we're not going to be signing anyone in January, so that can be boring.
Yeah,
That's boring.
That concerns me.
Oh, it's boring. I kind of want, I like that. I like talking about rumours that aren't going to happen, an 85% chance.
I love the fact now, though, that the headline now is Chelsea aren't looking to sign anyone in January and are concentrating on the summer. And then you can absolutely guarantee tomorrow there's an 85% chance Chelsea are signing this player in January. And it's like, well, you said we weren't signing anyone yesterday. Yeah, but what's going to get me more clicks today?
Well, we don't need. We've already got a centre back who's quality in Germany. Well, I mean, Aaron Ansamino. Dortmund are looking at signing him permanently, and I just thought, what, with a 10 million euro offer and a 60 million pound buyback clause? Yeah, I'm pissed off. You're gonna lowball us. Well, I'm not stupid. I've played this fiddle before. It's like a Serie A club. Serie A and Bundesliga clubs just see Chelsea and think, "Oh, sir, I've only got 10 million for your world top class player. Please." It's like, come on. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. And unfortunately, I'm not having what happened last night, because that means we get to go to winners and losers, because we took on the arch rival. You could have fooled me that they were arch rivals the way that our players playing, but we took on Leeds United in that Premier League. Chelsea turned into Ellen Road looking like a team still emotionally rebooting from the Arsenal game, and Leeds greeted them with a full throttle Howard Wilkinson inspired throwback bash. Yaka Bijol's early header hit Chelsea like a falling piano. Boom! And Tanaka doubling the lead before half-time only deepened the Blues' controller unplugged energy. Chelsea responded with 0 first-half shots on target, offering all the menace of a damp tea towel. Maresca, though, his half-time shake-up worked briefly, with Pedro Neto flickering into life and poking one home to make it 2-1, but any Chelsea momentum evaporated instantly when Tosin misjudged reality inside his own box. Dominic Calvert-Lewin turned into prime Didier Drogba and walked in a third to cap off the chaos. By full-time, Leeds were reborn. Ellen Road was bouncing and Chelsea looked like a team sprinting to the exit to pretend this night never happened. It was a cosmic clangor of a performance and one to bury deep into the vault. Leeds United 3, Chelsea 1. And before we ask who have you got, how many have you got, it's just come up on my feed that the BBC has denied a report that it will not send TV pundits and commentators to North America for the World Cup.
That whole conversation was pointless.
Everything we've just said, listeners, fuck it off. It's irrelevant. It's totally gone. Old news. It's never happened before. Right, but winners and losers, who have you got and how many have you got?
I've got 1 and 6.
Mate, I've got 2 and 4, but I've kind of compiled the winners almost together because of what it was. There's not enough to give a single award out, but
I agree. My one winner is actually 2, but they're together.
I bet. Oh, go on. Who are they?
Garnacho and Neto.
I've got them as the little bright spots. Yeah, go on.
Garnacho tried to do something to try and inject a bit of energy into our attack and try to beat a player, set up a couple of chances, made the Cole Palmer chance which he should have scored. And Neto scored. And that is about it.
Look, the credit where it's due here. When Neto and Garnacho came on, they injected actual urgency into a match that felt like watching paint dry. It really did. And
yeah,
both pressed with intent, both wanted to create. And it's no coincidence that Neto sparked the move for our goal. In a game short on silver linings, these two were the closest that we had. And my other winner was a treble. It was a triple. And it was Reece James, Wesley Fofana and Moise Caicedo. And they all have something in common. They didn't play. And they are exactly why they're winners, because their absence against Leeds said everything. We are simply a different, better, calmer, more functional team when all three are in the 11. Do we win that game with them available? I'd say yes, because it's 3 fewer rotations. It's a more settled spine. And it is a completely different identity on the pitch, because you've got Reece James's vocal voice. You've got Wesley Fofana's defensive ability. You've got Moises Caicedo, who's everywhere. He's everywhere. And last night proved their value more than any stat sheet could. So this is really sad. I don't think we've ever done a winners list that quick. But of course, it means we get to go to the losers. And I'm going to lead with the biggest loser of the night, and it's not us, but it's Tosin in defence. And you've got him. I don't need to ask you because I know you've got him. I got into a little discussion on Twitter today about he weren't that bad. I was like, no. This performance was the dictionary definition of why he cost nothing. Because he struck confidence into opposition players. I mean, that third goal is 100% on him. There's no awareness of his surroundings. He's got no strength. He's no commanding pressure. You're 6'4". You're 6'4", and you got bullied by Okafor. Now he's 6'1". Now you could let 3 inches. That's a lot. There's a lot. Trust me, it's a lot. But it's still unforgivable. You're our most senior player. You showed all the naivety of an academy graduate. I don't think Josh Champong would have done that. And you could almost give him some credit give him some, leeway because Josh is still a developing player. Tosin's he's a veteran in this team now. And I saw it last on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter where they were like, oh, actually, he's not been that bad this season. I'm sorry, I'm not having that. We've seen it against Fulham. I know it was disallowed, but we saw it against Sunderland. We saw it against Brentford. He gave away a penalty against Ajax. He's not at the level required for where this Chelsea side want to be at. If he starts another game this season, that is a dereliction of footballing duty. He's got this summer sale pile, top of the stack. He is not Chelsea level. He just isn't.
No, and I think you was one of the first people this season to call that. On here between us four, you was bringing up how bad he was 1v1 really early in the season. I remember
a rare W. But you're right. He's awful. He's awful.
He is terrible when he's faced 1v1 with space around him. He is absolutely horrendous. I didn't have him individually, by the way.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I had all of the rotation players.
Yeah, I see your point.
Because this was not a good audition for any player that got rotated in for this game, because it just showed that the drop off from our best 11 to our rotated 11 is absolutely fucking massive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like we've built a squad, and they keep like wanting to talk about how much of a good squad we've built, and you look at it and you think we haven't really. We've built a squad that's very reliant on 4 or 5 players. And the rest of them just get carried by those players. And when you take any of those players out, we look like a team that should be 8th to 10th in the league.
Yeah, 100%. And look, I had the Tosin debate. Look, if you want to go find it, it's on Twitter. It's not hard to find. But I respect the guy who I spoke to on Twitter because, I follow him. He follows us. When I saw their comment about he had a bad game, but the way the Chelsea fan base have gone after him is not nice. I agree on that. I don't want any abuse. Yeah. If you direct abuse or anything, stop. Just give your head a wobble. I don't condone that. Criticise what they do. Don't have a go at them. There's a massive difference. And I think people on social media don't understand the difference between criticism and abuse. They really don't, because they think, oh, it's acceptable. It's not. When I look at him, though, this season, it's not a bad game. It's a bad season.
Yeah.
He's conceded. This is when he's in the team. He's been in 17 games. We've conceded 19. He's made errors leading to goals, obviously, now Leeds, Fulham disallowed, obviously, Brentford and Sunderland. He gave away a penalty to Ajax. This is a very bad season. And it's not a coincidence that when he plays, we seem to concede a goal. I've got to say, I can't lie and say, oh, no, and I saw comparisons like Kukurea turned it round. I don't think you can compare this. It's that classic apples and oranges. I don't think this is the comparison that we should be doing. He's not at the level that Chelsea need to be at. It just isn't.
Kukurea had already shown, though, for another club that he could be really good.
That's the thing. He had that first and only season at Brighton was outstanding.
Yeah, and the season before they brought him, he was good as well. So was it Getafe? He was
at Getafe. Yeah,
really good there. Really good at Brighton. We brought him. He went to shit, but then he turned it around because you knew there was a good player in there. Tosin's never been a really good player. He's been okay. He was okay for Fulham. I didn't hear loads of Fulham fans crying about him leaving, so that should have rang alarm bells straight away.
No, it's that is totally fair. And you've said rotation, so I'll now go to my second loser, and it's Enzo Maresca,
Yeah, he's
because
on mine.
well, there is a saying that is as old as time itself, and it's that the more you fuck about, the more you find out. And last night, Maresca found out in brutal fashion. Rotation is fine. I understand that players are playing more games than ever before, but rotation does not mean ripping out half your starting 11 every other game, especially and you said this in the chat, when 3 or 4 of those changes are in your back line.
It's not good enough.
What is that? Like, we already lost Caicedo due to suspension. Again, a point you brought up in our chat. Why on earth decide to rip out 2 more defenders? And Chalobah is technically a third player ripped out because he's put it right back, which is a total waste of his ability. Tosin is obviously a downgrade on Fofana. I mean, one of our training cones was an upgrade on Tosin starting, let's be honest, but Badiashile, I like Badiashile. He looked half asleep. We learned last season that mass rotation kills the rhythm of this team. Maresca has improved massively this year. Tactically, I've seen some incredible changes. I'm like, wow, that's great. He's red card. Oh, I'm not going to react. Brilliant. But this is the next big lesson he absolutely must fix. Rotation is fine. You can't be pulling out 5 or 6 players a game. It's ludicrous.
You can't do it in the Premier League. It's that simple, because
It's not the Conference League.
No, there is literally no easy game in the Premier League. There really isn't. Even, you look at Wolves now, they look absolutely dead and buried. They've got 2 points. They ain't won a game. It's nearly Christmas. But if we was going to Wolves away and he made 7 changes, I'd think, that's a risk.
Yeah.
Because the Premier League is just like that. And if you keep fucking about with your back 4, you're going to get found out in this league. You just will. Like, we lost Caicedo. Okay. He can't do anything about that. That's not his fault. He said Fofana can't play this many games. Again, I have sympathy there. So he's got to drop him out. But just bring another centre back in and leave everything else the same, mate. Why have we had to change everything then? It's like, oh, Caicedo's out. Oh, and Fofana. Oh, well, we might as well change the whole team then, really. Yeah. Might as well change the whole team. No point. Well, why? Just make the changes that you've got to make. Even Reece James, I'll let you off a little. Okay. I would have preferred for Reece James to have started and then see if you could do something in the first half and then rest him in the second half, personally. But Gusto can start. No one can tell me Malo Gusto cannot play 3 games a week. He's 20 years old. He can play 3 games a week. He doesn't have a long history of injuries either. So he can play 3 games a week. He's fine. So leave him there. That then allows you to leave Chalobah at centre back. So whoever you're bringing in you're being brought in with arguably our most informed centre back. So that's going to help them as well. I didn't understand the dynamic of let's change the wingers, let's bring in a striker, let's move João Pedro to the 10, let's move Enzo Fernandez back to play alongside Andre Santos. It's like you've changed too much. It's like he acted like it was a cup game. It's not a cup game, mate. And you've just everything positive that had been built up. Now you've killed it in one game because your team selection.
It feels like we're still treating the Conference League how we had an A and a B team. It feels like we're doing that, and it's the quality of opponents are different. You would argue, a lot of people have said, whoever is in the Conference League and is a Premier League team, arguably should win it. They're favourites for a reason. So, and you've said about the Wolves, the best I've seen Wolves play was against Chelsea in the League Cup. Now, how many changes do you think we made that game?
From the start, at least 9.
10. Only Achampong was the only player that started against Sunderland in the previous game. There you go. And I know you could say, but the first half was good. But still, the point was, the second half wasn't. I was there. It was not good.
And believe it or not, a game's 90 minutes.
That's the thing. You could, what was it? Wasn't it under Poch? if we only played like the first half of games, we'd have been like something like second, and we'd have had
Yeah.
a great. It's like it doesn't work like that. I get
It
where
doesn't.
people come from, going, yeah, but we had a really great. Yeah, but we need to do two. I'd rather have two halves of 7 out of 10 than the first half being 10 out of 10, and then the second 0. It's like,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's oh my word, it's so frustrating, and especially seeing players out of position bugs me. Chalobah at right back, but what you got Gusto? What's Gusto doing? Put him on.
Yeah,
Chalobah is a good player at centre back, not right back. No.
So I do have sympathy for Maresca, like I said, because of the whole trying to manage players' fitness. It's not his fault
Yes,
that
of
we've got
course.
players that are made of glass, and
No.
you know, he is being forced into some of this rotation. But you could see right from the off, the team just looked unsettled, disjointed. No one really understanding what they was doing. Even players who have been good lately, it unsettled them. Like Robert Sanchez, I thought had his poorest game for a while. Distribution was terrible. 3 times he kicked it to a Leeds player. 3 times. We ain't seen that from Sanchez in ages. Enzo Fernandez, poorest game for a while. Didn't look comfortable at all. Didn't look like he knew what he was doing. All of the forward players, horrendously bad. Again, no chemistry there, no link up, no link play, because where they just know instinctively where each other's going to be. You can't keep playing 2 separate teams every 3 games. It's just ridiculous. And either these players, they've got to get fit to a point where they can play the amount of games they have to, or you have to manage it better and think, well, okay, we've got Arsenal, Leeds, Bournemouth. So Reece James, Fofana, especially those 2, they can't play all 3 of those games. So what I'm going to do is I want at least one of them on the pitch for every one of those games, if possible. So I'll start Reece James against Arsenal, and I won't start Fofana. Then I'll rest James against Leeds, and I'll start Fofana. And then I'll rest Fofana again against Bournemouth, and I'll bring James back in. You have to think about it that way then. You can't just think, well, I'll pick my best team for this one, and then we'll rotate the entire 11 for this game and just hope for the best. It reminds me a little bit of Guardiola's first season in the Premier League, and I always remember when he took his Man City team away at Goodison Park. They lost 4-0, and after the game, he said the comment, which I think is probably the worst thing a manager's ever said. Bear in mind, this was going to Goodison Park at a time when Everton at Goodison Park was one of the hardest away games in the league. And he turned around in the interview after and said, I just didn't think it was going to be that difficult coming here. He learnt, though, very quickly that there are no easy games in the Premier League. So you can't heavily rotate all the time. It just doesn't work. And for everything good Maresca's done this season, this is why I think a couple of episodes ago we had that question about, you look at how the season's going, why are people still doubting? Why do people still have doubts over Maresca? It's because of games like this. And it's not just because games like this happen, it's because people called it prior to it happening. Loads of people, including you boys on here on Monday, said after Arsenal, would not be shocked if we went and lost to Leeds.
Yeah.
Because you can see it coming, and that's where you don't have full belief in your manager.
The third loser for me was the lack of passion, because Leeds United, at home or away, this is one of Chelsea's biggest rivalries. This fixture predates Spurs beef, I'd say, by a fair few years. And there's always been that right. The Spurs rivalry has only really got heated in the last 25-ish years, I'd say. Leeds is, oh, bloody hell. I mean, that's from the 70s and the 60s. I mean, older listeners will know very well the 1970 FA Cup final. And look, every season, I look for 3 fixtures: Arsenal, Spurs, and Leeds, when Leeds are in the Premier League. Those are the ones that mean the most to me to win. And what did we see in the first half? I saw zero passion. I saw zero bite. I saw zero understanding of what this game means. And what I did see, though, on Wednesday night was our players passing backwards for 45 minutes, recycling possession in fear. That's cowardly. That is cowardly because die-hard away fans have travelled for 4, maybe 5 hours in freezing cold weather on a Wednesday night. They've had annual leave for that, but probably had 1 or 2 days. And you know what? I'm going to tell you all right now. I believe their tickets and travel costs should be refunded by the club for that performance because those players should go direct to the manager or the directors, whatever, and just say, look, give up whatever percentage of our salaries to cover those travel and ticket costs. I'm 100% serious because I didn't see anyone. Look, they cared. The fans cared. Those away fans are the backbone of this club. They are the backbone of any club, the away fans are. And they put their effort in. They gave up their time, their annual leave. But I didn't see any of those Chelsea players look like they gave a flying shit. That 45 minutes was horrifically poor. The fact when Leeds scored, I weren't shocked. The second goal, wasn't shocked.
In fairness, I don't think the second half was any better. I've heard people say, "Well, we got better in the second half." Did we?
We scored
a goal. We scored a goal.
Did nothing.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we scored a goal against a Leeds team whose, let's face it, their confidence is fragile at best. They've got a manager under pressure. We pulled a goal back really early in the second half. And you think, right, this is where you put your foot on the throat now and you really press home the advantage. You keep them penned in. You get the nerves going around the crowd. 11 minutes later, we hadn't had a shot. What are we doing? Like, you've basically just let them off the hook there. You've scored a goal and then for 10 minutes gone, right, come on, let the game settle back down again. It's only fair.
Yeah. You're not wrong because one of my friends is a Leeds fan. And I said to her, when they scored, I was like, oh, you've won this. You're 2-0 up. I thought, you've won this. And she said to me, she was like, I'm not doing anything yet. Because they've seen Leeds capitulate against, I'd say City was harsh because that was a last minute winner. But obviously against Villa when they were 1-0 up. And you think, I didn't think that fear. It's crazy how I weren't scared that, well, other way around. I wasn't confident we would go and score. It's weird. This team, it's very Jekyll and Hyde. When we're on it, Barcelona, PSG, but it's these games when I can tell straight away when we go 1-0 down, you can look around and say, are we ready for this? Are we up for it? And I knew last night we ain't up for this. The game's already over. We look like that. Just don't care. Next one, lads. We'll get them next time. It's like, why does this keep happening? It's I don't get it. This is what a bit harder. Who was your third loser?
Liam Delap.
He's on my little mini losers, yes.
I'll be honest with you.
Please do.
Obviously, I wasn't on Monday and I listened to the pod and I couldn't believe none of you had him as a loser for the Arsenal game because I think his substitute appearance against Arsenal was one of the worst substitute performances I've ever seen. Not only did it lack quality, it lacked energy. He didn't do any sort of running. He spent his entire time on the pitch against Arsenal walking around. And then I watched him last night do the same thing. Honestly, for everyone saying, oh, we've got a striker who can come and link the play. He's good with his back to goal. He's strong. He's good on the ball. He can run with the ball. He can make his own chances. He's a good finisher. Where's that then? Because I ain't seen any of that. Because I watched him get bullied by Leeds defence, who was in the bottom three, by the way. He got absolutely bullied. He had a golden chance to score and missed the target at the near post, which is about as bad as it gets, really, for a forward. Not only missing the goal, but missing the wrong side of it. And no work rate. I didn't see him closing anyone down, wasn't trying to win the ball back, wasn't battling for anything. I don't see anything. I've seen absolutely nothing from Liam Delap that suggests that he's a good player. Absolutely nothing. What it looks like is we've signed a player who had 6 good months at Ipswich.
Yeah. I'll tell you why I've got small things I notice but can't ignore as a loser because I've got three individual players on that. Liam Delap was one of those. 30 million, injured or not, zero Premier League goals approaching Christmas. That's a big
It's
concern.
horrendous.
I know he scored against Barca, but again,
Oh, yeah, but come on.
you got to look at the highlight, look at how they played because look,
Yeah,
he
like he was playing for Ipswich.
yes, and also he lost his man for the Leeds' first goal.
Yep.
That's his job, and I know he's a striker, but your job was to mark that player, and you didn't. And he needs to show something because yet again, he is better than nothing up front, but we are real close to nothing. We got Mark Yu. Mark Yu should be there. I'd rather see Mark Yu.
Mark Yu looked more dangerous in the time he was on the pitch than Delap did for the however many minutes he got, over an hour.
A squirrel with a rusty spoon is more dangerous than Liam Delap right now. We got to do something. Who's your fourth loser?
Yeah, fourth. Enzo Fernandez.
Okay, didn't have him in my mini losers, but go ahead.
Thought he had a poor game himself. But I have a little bit of sympathy again for him because we've said this about Caicedo, and I think the Caicedo Arsenal game, I think has been coming as well because we run those two into the ground, and eventually that is going to catch up with them, and they're going to have a poor game. He's on my losers list because he showed no leadership in this game, Enzo Fernandez. All of that bite and that energy and that enthusiasm and that shithousery that we've seen against Barca and Arsenal had gone. He looked like someone turning up for work in a factory on a Monday morning. First Monday back after Christmas, you know that one. That's what he looked like. Walking in like, oh, I cannot be bothered to be here today. So I'll forgive him having a bad game, like on the ball, or just a bad game in general. But especially when you've got the armband on, you've got to show something, mate. You have to be the person who tries to lift everybody when it's not going well. And he didn't do that at all. He just let the game meander and just became a part of it, which I think showed a massive gap in his leadership ability.
No, I think that's fair. One of my mini losers. This is going to go down well. I've got Esteval because it was a poor first half from him.
Yeah, it's fair.
And
it's fair.
This is why I was annoyed because listeners who have me on Discord will know. They know it was the petulant kick out. That was embarrassing. And I say this, and someone on Twitter went, "That's over the top." No, he's lucky the ref didn't send him off because some would. You can't kick out of. We've seen players do a little kick out when they're on the floor or they've done something, they've put a foot in. You can't do it because you've got to get that out of your game. I get you were having a bad one. You've got to get that out of your game because if you do it again, one referee might go, you know what? Didn't like that. Straight red. I've seen it happen. I'm just being honest. I've seen it happen. You got to stop it. You're better than that. Better than that. Who was your next or maybe final loser?
No, I've got two left.
Go, please. I'm here.
I've got momentum.
Yeah.
Because after the Barca game and the Arsenal result and the two performances in those games, it felt like we were starting to gather pace. The mood around the place seemed a lot more positive. The atmosphere seemed more positive. The outlook was good. And it's died on its arse in one game. Now, some people will say that's an overreaction, but that's what momentum is, I'm afraid. It's something where you're on a roll and then something stops you dead in your tracks, like hitting a wall. And it's not that we lost the game. And I said this in our group chat last night. It's not losing the game. We could have gone there and lost the game and still kept momentum. You play really well. You lose a goal because of an individual mistake or a dodgy penalty call or a set piece, but you've played really well. You keep some form of momentum. We got completely outplayed by a team who was in the bottom three, that in the relegation zone, and we didn't go there and lose. We got completely outplayed. Like, there was no positives from that game. And to be fair to Maresca, he said that after. There's no positives from this. We can't take anything from this game. And he's absolutely right. There wasn't a single positive from the entire game. And that's what kills your momentum. And then Bournemouth, Saturday, we're starting all over again, where you've got to build it up again. And even if we beat Bournemouth, you're not back on track. You've got to then go and win the next one and the next one. And then you start building it up again. But then we know what'll happen. Well, I have no doubt that we'll beat Bournemouth on Saturday. I think we'll go there and we'll win that game about 3-0 and it'll be comfortable and everyone will be buzzing again. And then we'll probably win the next game. I don't know who it is after that. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then we'll lose again. And it'll be the same cycle just as we start to think, oh, this is good. It's like, nah, come on. Don't be silly. We're going to lose again now.
Bournemouth away, Atalanta away, Everton at home, Cardiff away in the Cup, Newcastle away, and then it's Christmas.
We'll win all 4 of them and then lose at Newcastle. I can absolutely guarantee it.
Well,
We will win 4 games in a row now, and then we'll go to Newcastle and we will get annihilated 3-0.
we're cooking.
And everyone will be like,
we've burnt
what's
them
going
out.
on?
Yeah. You know what? My final mini loser, João Pedro. Because,
Yeah, fucking hell. Don't get me started on him.
look, forget one season wonder. Are we witnessing a one competition wonder? Because 4 league goals in 14 isn't good enough for a player that we're told is a starting striker.
Fuck me, that's horrendous. I didn't realise it was that bad.
And I'm gonna actually belittle the goals here because one was a Wolves gift. So it's Wolves. Sorry, it's Wolves. One of the other 4 was a Caicedo created tap-in. That was Caicedo's goal. I know it wasn't, but he created it.
In a game as well, by the way, where he missed 2 really good chances in that game.
Yeah, he needs to offer more. I want to see, as I said about Sanchez, is this the Sanchez at the Club World Cup, the actual Sanchez? Oh, and he's showing that. I need to see the Club World Cup João Pedro, please. Because right now, the Premier League 25-26 João Pedro is not convincing me.
No, I agree. And people saying, well, you know, when Palmer's back, we'll get João Pedro back. What, he can only play if Palmer plays? Because that's not a player that I want then. Because what's the point of that?
Oh, no, we're screwed.
Because I'd argue that Cole Palmer will make anyone around him look better.
Yeah.
Because it's Cole Palmer.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
And he has the ability to put things on a plate where you've literally just got to put it in the goal. He's done all the hard bit. You've just got to roll it in the goal. Bit like Caicedo against Spurs for the goal, really. Like you said, Caicedo did literally all the hard bit and left you with the simplest part that any player on the pitch would have done. So I don't want a player that can only play when Cole Palmer plays. But I'm not shocked about João Pedro because, again, I said this when we signed him. This is what we're buying. You're buying an average footballer who's either really good for 2, 3, 4 games in a row, and you think, fucking hell, we've got a player here, and then they go missing for 10. And that's exactly what he did at Brighton. There's no different. He's the same player. He's the same player he was at Brighton. We haven't got a worse version of João Pedro. He's doing for us exactly what he did for Brighton. But without penalties.
Who was your final loser from that game?
I feel a bit bad about this, but then you lot have done it to me before, so fuck you all. I've got all 3 of you.
Oh, wow. Fair play.
Got really carried away, didn't you, after the Arsenal game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're in a title race. Everything's rosy. All these players are great. We've got all these. I mean, I did hear. Sorry, Ollie. I think it was Ollie who started talking about our players being world class.
Oh dear.
And again, it's back to reality. Back to Chelsea. This is what we've got. We've got a squad that's got some very talented players in it, but we've got some very, very bang average players. We've got a manager who's still learning on the job, who's going to make more mistakes than things he gets right, most likely, throughout the course of the season. And I do think sometimes you should always enjoy the wins when they come. But I do think 24 hours, 48 hours after, you should really review, actually, was that as good as we thought it was? Because you can vouch for this, Mikey. I did say, didn't I, in our group chat, that I don't think beating this Barcelona team is that big a deal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It was a brilliant performance. It doesn't take away from the performance. The performance was still fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's not beating Barcelona from 2011.
No.
It's beating Barcelona now. They're okay. They're an okay football team. It's the equivalent of beating AC Milan. Big name, historical name, teams bang average. The point against Arsenal, personally, watching us on Sunday, wasn't it, the Arsenal game?
Yes.
Watching us on Sunday was one of the first times in a long time I have genuinely enjoyed watching us play from a sort of character point of view and real backs against the wall job, being a man down against a team who are in such good form and look like they might run away with the league and are really hard to play against. From a character point of view, I thought this game's been brilliant. It's everything you want in your football team. Heart, passion, desire, still had some quality as well. Still done enough to win the game, despite being down to 10 men. But we didn't win the game. We still only drew the game, which it is a good point. But people was talking about it and celebrating it like we'd gone down to 10 men and beat them 2-0. We drew. You can praise all that stuff I just did there, but it's still only a draw. Like I've watched us go down to 10 men and beat Barcelona over 2 legs in the new camp and go 2-0 down in that game. Like that's a result you can be proud of. And I know that's a draw as well, but it was a win because we was already winning that game 1-0 going to the game. So we didn't have to win the game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I follow. Yeah.
Yeah, because we was winning the tie. Like, those are things that you can celebrate. Like, again, it's just about tempering it in sometimes. Like, I'm all for football games. Like, you know, you should get caught up in the emotion. And on the day, yeah, it's everything's fantastic. But then on reflection, I think as a fan base, you do yourself more favours if you just temper it back down again and go, okay, brilliant performance against Barcelona, but they're not a European powerhouse anymore. Like, they haven't been deep in the Champions League for a long time. Point against Arsenal, everything that went with it, another really solid performance, but still only a draw. Let's see what Leeds brings. Because I think there was too many people who was on such a high from those 2 games that they came into this Leeds game genuinely thinking, oh, we'll smash them 4-0. And you thought, we won't, no. We just won't. Because I've said this about us as well before. I don't worry about us against Barcelona, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City. I don't worry about us in those games. Those are the games we turn up for. We turn up, we perform. It suits our players. I don't worry about us in those games. I always worry more when we're going to teams like Leeds, where you think, fuck hell, this is going to be a battle. They're going to sit deep. They're going to hit us on the counter-attack. It's going to be a horrible place to go. Those are the games where this group of players really, really struggle.
Yeah. Right. Well, we have to pick an emoji. I went with a bag full of money because it should be handed out to the away fans that travel to, refund their costs. There you go.
Oh, I like that.
What about you?
I've gone with do you know the arrow that points backwards and says back under it?
Oh, yes.
Because what we've seen over the last week is 2 steps forward, 3 steps back again.
So true. So true. Lion of the midweek. Birth went Garnacho. Not bad.
Not bad.
For some reason, somebody had said I picked Pedro Neto. Nobody on this platform picked Pedro Neto. I picked Gittins, as did the wheel, and Ollie chose Palmer. I can't give Birth the winner for Garnacho. No one was a winner as such.
No, I don't. I'll be honest with you. All 4 involved there didn't pick a winner amongst you.
And I'm another week where we haven't done this since the Man United game, but no winners. That's the only second time this season we have not given an actual line of the week out because I can't. No one.
No, because there was
There wasn't.
nobody anywhere near it, was
No.
there? Like, we're talking about Garnacho and Pedro Neto.
For
But
just
they only
no.
did the bare minimum.
Exactly.
It's just that everyone else had fell really far below the bare minimum.
Yeah. Right. Match preview time. We are having a quiet one. We're heading down south. Yes. Yes, we are. On the road to take on Bournemouth. The scoop. Here's the scoop on them. They're 14th in the Premier League with 5 wins, 4 draws, and 5 defeats. Chris, their recent form is 0 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses. Oh, it's Charity FC time. You can see it. No. Player spotlight. Look, it's Antoine Semenyo. Of course it is. I mean, perhaps Sense. He isn't a bad little player. He's also 6'1", so he call him a little player is a bit insulting. The last time that Chelsea got beat by Bournemouth was on the 14th of December 2019. Wouldn't be a proof if I didn't tell you what the UK number 1 was. It was that song that I don't like. It was Dance Monkey by Tones, and I don't like it. So I'm gonna move straight away to the line of the week predictions. Who have we got for this? Fuck. Caicedo can't play, so he can't be picked. It's a really tough one.
I'm going Reece James.
Yeah, I think that's a safe shout. Oh, come on, Wheel. There we go. Who are you going with? Interesting. Mark you. Okay.
I mean, he should start. He won't. But
no, you know what? It's not lazy. It's not lazy to say Cole Palmer because I think he will play, and we haven't actually picked him because he hasn't been playing. So I think that's fair. I think yours is a safe bet. Blue versus who? Now we're going to end it asking 3 questions about our upcoming opponent. Oh, now the first question is Chelsea's last trip to the Vitality Stadium ended in a 1-0 win for Maresca's side. Who scored the goal, though, for Chelsea? And here is an audio clue, and I've made sure this time that you can't.
That was hilarious, by the way.
It is bleeped out. It is bleeped out. So here it is.
One of these sides was to score. Be more to come. Off the bench, and maybe, just maybe, a winner for Chelsea. When you can bring on class.
There you go. He got a clue there. So he didn't start the game.
No, I know who it was anyway.
Oh,
it was
Kalidou Koulibaly. Wasn't He'd left. He'd been sold.
It was Christopher Nkunku.
It was. I don't know how many goals he scored for us, but I don't remember. It was actually. Obviously, the last trip to the Vitality Stadium also broke a Premier League record. What was the record, Chris? It's a genuine record. It's nothing like really, really obscure.
I have absolutely no idea.
Well, ironically, it involves discipline. So not much has changed this season, has it?
Nope.
It was the total of yellow cards given in the game. There was a total of 14, and it became a new Premier League record for the most shown in a game. 8 for us, 6 for Bournemouth. Heavy fines were given out that day, I think. And of course, we finished with the put in the former Blue players in order of when they first joined Bournemouth. So we've got Nathan Ake, Gary Cahill, Dominic Solanke, Asmir Begovic, and Michael Dewberry, which that's a pretty easy giveaway.
Well, Michael Dewberry's first.
1995.
Michael Dewberry's probably old enough to be most of those other players' dads.
Yes,
so.
He might be. He might be getting on a little bit now. He's 50.
Right. Let's think about this. So we've got Ake, Gary Cahill, who I don't remember playing for Bournemouth at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Got no recollection of that whatsoever. So I've got seriously no idea whether that was before Villa, after Villa, before Bolton, after Bolton, before Chelsea, after Chelsea. So that doesn't help me whatsoever. So is it Ake, Cahill? Who was the others?
Solanke and Begovic.
Well, Solanke was at us, then at Liverpool, and then at Bournemouth, and then now at Spurs. So He's quite recent.
Yeah, it's not Sidwell stamp collection, so that doesn't help you.
No.
He named his club, so I might pick him for Monday.
It's just so I'm toying with
Mm.
Ake or Begovic next.
Okay.
I'm just
There's
trying to think about the years.
Yeah, there's a massive gap in years, I'm telling you. Massive gap between them two.
I don't really remember Asmir Begovic there either, to be honest.
9 years separate when they first joined Bournemouth.
Jesus.
9 years. I think that's not as hard as it sounds when you think about positions.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's go Begovic second then.
2007.
See, now with the 9-year gap, does that mean Cahill slipped in between?
Ah.
Yeah, let's go Gary Cahill slipping in between them.
No, because Gary Cahill was 2021. He was the latest. He's the most recent signing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, Nathan Ake was 2016 because 9 years on from Begovic. The question is, did Solanke join before or after?
I reckon it might have been before, you know.
Okay, well, you're wrong because it was 2016 for Ake and 2018 for Solanke.
Yeah, that's right, because
And
he
then
was
Kev.
around Mourinho's second spell, wasn't he? Solanke. Yeah, and then he went to Liverpool because I want to play regular first team football, and good luck with that, mate.
Christmas questions. We'll wrap it up. We've got McClund who says, "Are we ever going to start punishing the bottom feeders?" Well, we thought we could because we beat Burnley, and we were suddenly like, "Oh, we can beat this low block."
Yeah, that was another game where everyone got carried away, though.
I know, but we beat a low block. That was huge for Chelsea. That is huge.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah,
didn't do
okay.
any more. We didn't do anything else.
I don't know whether Leeds did play that much of a low block, you know. I just think we lost the game all over the pitch. It weren't because we couldn't break them down. We didn't try.
I love JDH on Twitter said this is the worst individual defensive match from a Chelsea player, Tosin. No question, just statement of fact. Some people have said it is worse than Bakayoko Watford, and I'm like, that is a very high bar.
I wouldn't go that far.
That was a
Because
high bar.
aside from the third goal, which is obviously 95% on Tosin, I didn't look at the rest of the game and think, fucking hell, if we take Tosin off, we'll be all right here. I thought that about a lot of players. So it wasn't like it was just Tosin who was costing us the game. I don't think anyone was playing well.
I think remembering back to the Bakayoko game, remember this lad lost the ball 7 times in 30 minutes and got sent off. Now,
no one will ever be worse than Bakayoko against
and
Watford.
you could say, but he didn't lead to a goal. He didn't have chance to lead to a mistake. Him getting sent off led to all Watford's 4 goals because we had a player. I can't justify ever removing the Bakayoko game as not being the worst performance from a player ever. I mean, it's got to be pretty shit. João Felix's cameo against Fulham when he got red carded. No, I can't. It's Bakayoko every time. I'll be really worried if anyone ever beats that.
Yeah, so will I.
Oh my word. Oh, jeez. Watford. It was Watford. Oh dear. It was a bad game. It was a bad game. Oh, listeners, we got through it though. We got through it together. And of course, we're at the end of another episode. Thank you for tuning in. And before we go, don't forget, proudly part of Head in the Game, mental health charities in football, support web and community. Find out more at headinthegame.co.uk. Treat yourself well. Back Monday with winners and losers from Chelsea and Bournemouth. And we really hope it'll be more winners and losers and that we don't get carried away.
We'll win it 3-0, mate.
Well, that's an early game prediction. 3-0. Yeah, why not? 3-0 sounds feasible, I suppose. But we'll see. We shall see. So until next time, that'll be us signing off.
You've been listening to At The Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At The Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.